Hi, Misfits. This is Kevin.
And this is Kate.
Welcome to Horrorwood.
Welcome to our sick day.
It's a sick day.
We are not well up in here.
Kate and I are both just exhausted and tired and also having horrible, stomach stuff.
Yeah, and unrelated because we didn't hang out
yesterday.
Hang out or do
anything. Yeah.
But yeah, I woke up and I was like, oh, I'm not right. And we just kept pushing.
I know. I was like, Kate, I'll come over at noon. I'm actually going to take a nap.
Can I do one instead?
Can we do one? And then I show up at 1:18.
I was like, are you awake yet? Yeah, we're not okay, but we're here and we are going to give you guys a good, hopefully, episode.
I hope so.
Hopefully we can get our act together here.
I think we can.
All right.
All right. Well, let's just dive in.
Let's do it.
Let's go for it.
Because I might throw up if we don't go.
I know. Let's do this quickly. And I might shit myself.
Oh,
and I don't care if anybody hears that.
Everybody heard it.
Everyone. Okay. So today we're talking about the found footage horror movie that started it all. But not really, because there were other found footage movies before
I was going to say,
that.
I think there was some before that.
But this one really kind of
put it on the map.
Put it on the map, knocked it out of the park, however you want to talk about it. So settle in and let's take a trip into the Maryland woods as we talk about the movie, The Blair Witch Project.
Fun fact about me, I've never seen it.
I'm going to spoil it for you.
Well, that's fine. It came out decades ago. I mean, that's why I didn't see it, is because as soon as it came out, everyone that went was like, oh, it's fake, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And they just told me everything that happened. So I was like, oh, well, I don't think I need to go then.
Yeah, I will say when I went to see it, it scared me. Well, no, when I saw it in theaters with my mom, it didn't scare me and I was disappointed. I knew it was fake.
Right.
But then I bought the VHS when it came out.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember being at home one night. It was near Halloween. My mom was gone. And I put it on in my room in the dark and watched it. And it scared the fucking shit out of me.
Well, yeah, Home Alone in the dark. I could see that.
It scared me so bad. Also, the movie theater I went to see it on, left the lights on.
What?
During it. I don't know why.
Must have been a technical
It must have been something. I don't know. Maybe somebody requested it.
Weird.
I don't know.
There's always someone.
There's always somebody who fucks it up for all of us. So today we're going to talk about the movie, how it was made, all about it, and the legal battles that ensued immediately after.
Oh, okay.
And there's more than one.
Well, you said battles.
Didn't realize that.
Plural.
The movie opens with these two chilling sentences. In October of 1994, 3 student filmmakers disappeared in the woods near Burkittsville, Maryland, while shooting a documentary. A year later, their footage was found. Ooh, spooky.
This is great because it's September, it's pre-October. And because I feel like, at least here, fall is so short, it seems like. It's like summer, fall. Winter. And so I feel like the earlier we can start celebrating spooky season, the better.
That's what I was thinking.
Even though the temperatures have shot right back up
They're
into
right
the
back
80s.
up into the fucking mid-80s again.
But I like that we're getting into spooky topics.
Too. So the whole Blair Witch thing is built on a fake legend about a ghost named Ellie Kedward. She was supposedly a woman in Blair, Maryland. That's the old made-up name for Burkittsville. Burkittsville's an actual place.
Okay.
Who got executed back in 1785 for being a witch.
Of course.
She was left out in the cold to die, and after that, whenever people in the town disappeared or turned up dead, everyone would blame the ghost.
How many people were disappearing and turning up dead?
Well, in wooded areas, you'd be surprised.
Well, I guess I wouldn't, actually.
So the backstory to the movie itself was cooked up by Ben Rock, who's the film's production designer.
Okay.
And he admitted that he had borrowed the idea from an actual Maryland legend about Moll Dyer. In 1697, Dyer was accused of witchcraft, banished from Leonardtown, Maryland, which is about 2 hours away from Burkittsville.
Okay.
And later found dead, frozen to a rock in the woods.
Oh, shit.
So that little nugget of real folklore gives the Blair Witch Myth some roots, which I didn't realize that they had looked up local legends.
Frozen to a rock?
Frozen to a rock.
How does that even happen?
I don't know, but I think from what other things I read, she had been beaten a little bit. I think it wasn't just being frozen to the rock. She was put there,
know. God.
All right, so let's dive into the plot of the movie. I'm not going to give every single thing away, but it might be a good idea to go and watch it before listening.
Whoops.
Kate didn't. That's okay. That's all right. You're coming at it with an open heart, an open mind, if you will.
Clear eyes, full heart.
Clear eyes.
Can't lose.
So the story follows 3 film students, Heather Donahue, Michael Williams, and Joshua Leonard, who head into the Black Hills near Burkittsville to make a documentary about the Blair Witch. The woods already had a creepy reputation since kids went missing there in the 1940s and locals stayed away. This is fake.
Yeah.
Okay. Just putting that out there. Just a reminder. At first, the students stumble across piles of stones set up in weird ways. Then the woods start messing with them. Strange sounds at night. More rock piles appearing where they weren't before. And soon they realize they're completely lost.
Uh-oh.
Things spiral fast. Josh vanishes after a few days, leaving Heather and Mike on their own. While searching for him, they discover a rundown house deep in the clearing. Inside, the walls are covered in runes and tiny handprints.
Ew, tiny handprints. I hate that.
There's a story in the movie about a murderer named Rustin Parr, who might have been possessed by the Blair Witch because he would kill children.
Oh.
And he would kill them 2 at a time in his house. And he would put one in the corner to wait while he killed the other one.
So, interesting, kind of somewhat related.
What are you going to say?
I know this just popped in my head, but Matt and I saw the show at Steppenwolf the other night, Mr. Wolf.
Okay.
And because one of my clients is understudying the lead.
That's
and
right.
So we went just to say hey to him and to see the show. And side note, Chris Kattan was there.
Are you fucking kidding me? I love Chris Kattan.
He's in Chicago now.
Mango.
Yeah. And I did not realize the injury that he had on SNL, back in 2001, I want to say. And so it has slowly, really kind of worn him down.
No.
So that was kind of sad to see, but also cool to see him in the audience.
Amazing.
But he was just hanging out in the lobby after. The story's about this dude that lives in this house deep in the woods. And, well, I don't want to spoil it, but just to say what you're talking about is pretty reminiscent of some things that might occur in the play. But yeah, check it out.
Okay. Thanks, Kate. I mean, that sounds
and it's
fascinating.
85 minutes, no intermission. It's so fast.
Easy.
Best.
I'll have to check it out. Okay, so yes, they're in the house. We see the runes and the tiny handprints, and you hear Josh's voice echoing from somewhere.
Oh.
Mike races upstairs, but then shifts down into the basement when the voice shifts down into the basement.
Ooh, okay.
And suddenly, he's just gone.
Poof.
Camera drops. Silence.
Bye.
Heather follows, panicked, only to find Mike standing motionless in the corner with his face in the corner, like one of the kids.
Oh, like in Time Out.
The camera crashes to the ground, the sound cuts, and that's it. Roll credits. That's the end.
Okay. I do feel like we actually have talked a little bit about this topic in another episode because it sounds familiar with the lawsuits.
It might have come up in one of, because I'm pretty sure I listed this on one of my recommendations.
In another found footage episode that I think we were talking about. I think you brought this up.
Yeah. So Let's talk about how the movie was formulated and got made.
Great.
So back in 1991, 2 film students at the University of Central Florida, Eduardo Sanchez and Daniel Myrick, came up with an idea that was different from anything else at the time. They were inspired by the kinds of scares they grew up with. Myrick in particular talked about the woods and swamps of Florida and how unsettling it was to imagine like seeing a stick figure hanging from a tree, which is like one of the images you get in the Blair Witch throughout the entire movie. There are these like stick figures that are hanging from trees all through the woods.
Freaky.
So instead of making a traditional horror flick with monsters and big effects, they wanted to capture that raw childhood fear of being lost in the dark. By 1996, they started putting their plan into action, sketching out a detailed 35-page treatment. They didn't write a normal script with dialogue, just an outline of events. They wanted the actors to improvise everything so it felt as real as possible. It took time to get off the ground, mostly because funding.
Sure.
When casting finally rolled around in 1997, the team put out a notice for extremely challenging roles that would be shot under very difficult conditions.
Sign me up.
Sign me up.
No,
they
don't.
weren't kidding. The auditions were designed to test improv skills. Every actor who walked in was handed a scenario. You've just served 10 years of a 20-year prison sentence. You're up for parole. What do you have to say for yourself?
Oh.
Michael C. Williams remembered that Eduardo Sanchez didn't even say good morning. He just jumped straight into it when he walked in the room. Heather Donahue was the only woman in the cast, and from the start, she was a standout. During auditions, when asked the parole board improv question, she didn't try to talk her way out of it. Instead, she stared Daniel Myrick straight in the eyes and said, "I don't think I should."
Like, I don't think I should be released.
Yeah. Like, don't put me out for parole, just staring him in the eyes. That answer rattled him and pretty much guaranteed her the role on the spot.
Great. I love it.
So once she got it, the directors loaded her with the mythology of the Blair Witch so she could be the anchor of the story and steering conversations naturally on camera.
And she was the only one that knew the mythology? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, pretty much. The rest of the cast would have had an idea, but they gave her the most knowledge about it. So she could like tell the stories and, you know, talk to them about it. Out in the woods, she was the one constantly filming, and that persistence bled into the real dynamic too. Her obsession with documenting everything created attention, just like it was supposed to. Because in the movie, when things start to get scary, the other guys are like, Heather, put the fucking camera down. Like, stop filming this. And she's like, no, we have to keep documenting it. We have to keep doing this. Heather later delivered what became the film's most famous moment, the tearful close-up confessional where she apologizes to the camera, convinced they won't survive. This monologue is chilling. She's like, she can't see her entire face because it's like right up on the camera lens, but she's like crying. She's saying goodbye to her family. And then she starts looking around terrified, and it's so close. It's just really unnerving. That wasn't scripted, word for word. Myrick just told her to imagine she was saying goodbye to her family, and she turned it into something unforgettable.
Oh, wow.
They make fun of it in Scary Movie.
Okay. I know what scene you're talking about, because I mean,
it's an iconic, and I think it's even on the front of the movie
maybe
poster.
Yeah.
Michael Williams came into the project with little professional acting experience beyond 4 years of training at SUNY New Paltz. He loved improv and camping, which were literally listed as requirements in the casting call.
Right there, camping by. I don't understand camping.
I don't either.
Let's go outside and sleep on the hard ground where we're exposed to the elements.
Yeah.
No.
I don't love it. And when I was a kid, I used to like it. My dad and I would pitch a tent out in the backyard
That's
sometimes.
what we did, and that was enough.
Yeah, we didn't need to go find a remote place in the woods.
No, not recommended.
I would bring my Barbies and our little dachshund Corey.
Oh.
All right, so Mike remembered walking into the audition room where Ed Sanchez didn't waste time with small talk, but he did a great job. And once cast, Mike got crash courses in sound recording and how to work the old school DAT, digital audio tape system. He later recalled how much the rationed food impacted him on set. He described how each day's meals got smaller.
Oh.
He said the first day was a sandwich and a bag of chips for lunch, and the second day was maybe just a sandwich, and then the third day was maybe just a bag of chips, and then the fourth day maybe we just didn't have lunch.
What the fuck? Was this non-union?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
100%. This was all made independently until it got picked up after Sundance.
Okay. Wow. That would not fly today.
Not today. No. Well, also they wanted to make them uncomfortable and hungry.
But still, they're human beings.
I know.
And you have hired them. You need to take care of them.
Agreed. He admitted it wasn't super dangerous, but it was uncomfortable, which was the whole point. And he also described the strange rhythm of the nights, lying in a damp sleeping bag, finally getting warm.
Ew, damp sleeping bag.
Yeah. Yuck. And then hearing rocks being thrown or footsteps in the dark. Exhausted and annoyed, he and the others would groan before putting their shoes back on to act again. So, like, they threw them out there in the woods with, like, a rubric of what to do and how to shoot it. And then everybody else is in the surrounding area, and they would come in at night and, like, play voices of children giggling, or they would
This is fucked up.
I know, or they would throw rocks, and they'd have to get up and film it, like, if they heard something.
Oh, geez. This feels like abuse.
I mean, it kind of does, but I'll talk a little bit more about it soon. Joshua Leonard was the third piece of the puzzle. He wasn't just acting. He had to handle the CP16 camera.
Oh, geez.
A heavy piece of equipment more commonly used for news broadcasts.
Yeah.
Neil Fredericks, the film's cinematographer, trained him, but Josh admitted he still messed things up. At one point, after leaving Mary Brown's house in one of the scenes, he realized he had botched the feet versus meters calculations for his shots and worried the whole scene would be out of focus.
Josh, honey, you should not have to worry about that. That's not your job, baby.
Like, just do what you need to do. The cinematographer can think about it later.
Oh my God. Unions. This is why we have
them. So that mix of responsibility and the improvisation were part of his performance. He was also the first to be pulled from the story, sneaking away from camp one night under instructions to pretend he was just going to the bathroom. The crew whisked him away, leaving Heather and Mike to stumble through the final act without him.
This is wild. I didn't know about all this.
Oh, yeah. There's a scene when they hear Josh's voice in the distance screaming in the woods, and they're running, trying to, like, find where he is. And I guess somebody, like, ran in front of Heather wearing a complete white stocking, and she, like, loses her shit. Like, they're trying to scare them out there.
Yeah, this feels abusive. No, but seriously.
No, I think so. I agree. I would do it, though. The budget of the entire film was... So I read two figures.
Okay.
$35,000 to begin with, but then later the number changes to 60. I think they...
Still cheap.
Shoestring, if you will. That meant no big effects, no crew hanging around the actors all the time, and no staged safety net.
Oof.
Instead, the filmmakers set up the survival-style production in the Maryland woods. Producer Greg Hale, who had a military background, played a really big role in organizing it. He taught the cast how to use GPS devices, which he had pre-programmed waypoints, leading them from one campsite to the next. At each location, they'd find milk crates with little 35mm film canisters inside. Each canister held directing notes tailored for each actor.
Oh, wow.
And they weren't supposed to share them with one another.
Sure.
That way, the reactions on camera felt authentic. Hale set the tone early, telling the actors bluntly, "Your safety is our primary concern, but your comfort is not."
I'm not so sure that the safety is either, but okay.
Well, I feel like the two things kind of go hand in hand.
Right.
So it's a little weird to parse them out like that.
Yeah.
The three were driven around Maryland and handed magazines from 1994 to make it feel like they were really, like, living in that moment.
Okay. When did this movie come out?
1999.
Oh, okay.
The shoot lasted 8 straight days.
Wow,
ending,
so fast.
Yeah. The ending was filmed at Griggs House, which is a 19th century structure that added a real layer of dread to that final act of the movie. To set the mood, Sanchez recorded Josh screaming on a cassette and blasted it on a boombox inside the house.
Ugh.
Williams remembered his direction being vague. Mike will hear something tonight, and when you hear it, you're going to follow it all the way up until Heather reaches you. And when Heather reaches you, you want to run all the way down. He didn't understand what all the way up or all the way down meant until he followed the voice into the house, and suddenly everything clicks. Because the voice is coming from upstairs, then it's coming from the basement.
Sure.
The filming was just crazy wild, insane. So then the movie goes to Sundance. They take it to Sundance in January of 1999, where it premiered as a midnight screening.
That'd be cool.
Have you ever been to Sundance?
No, I wish I had.
But when the shaky 80-minute found footage film unspooled with its chilling opening, it left audiences buzzing. Artisan Entertainment wasted no time. Within hours, they bought the film for $1.1 million, betting on the strange little indie horror to become something much bigger. Months before Sundance, though, the groundwork for its success had already been laid. Haxan Films, the filmmakers' company, had launched BlairWitch.com, a crude but brilliant website that built an entire mythology around the Blair Witch. I didn't even see if that was still live. Let me see if it is.
Okay.
No. Oh, it just takes you to Lionsgate now.
Gotcha.
The website featured fake police reports, news articles, journals, and even interviews, seeding the idea that this was more than just a movie. By the time Artisan picked up the film, the site already had around 100,000 views. Massive traffic for 1999.
Yeah.
Artisan relaunched it on April Fool's Day and began pumping out regular updates in the lead up to the release. Within weeks, the site was pulling in 3 million hits a day.
Whoa.
And by some counts, over 20 million visitors before the movie even opened.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That's some good marketing.
Oh, and this is the time, like, web isn't like the hot thing, but it's starting to become that. The campaign blurred fiction and reality at every turn. Artisan listed the actors Heather Donahue, Joshua Leonard, and Michael C. Williams on IMDb as missing, presumed dead.
Whoa.
Yeah. Isn't that insane?
That feels like a step too far.
Well, and I think we'll talk more about it in the lawsuit. They printed missing persons posters with the actors' faces and plastered them around college campuses and even at Cannes.
Oh, wow.
They also aired a faux documentary, The Curse of the Blair Witch, on cable TV, which stitched together archival photos, interviews with fake professors and girlfriends, and staged newspaper clippings.
This is wild.
Mm-hmm. It played like a true crime special, convincing even more people that the legend might be real. Artisan even sent interns to coffee shops and clubs across the country with the posters, asking strangers if they'd heard about the Blair Witch.
Part of it's like,
cool.
This is kind of too far, but also part of it's like, that's fucking brilliant.
I know, right? So all of this was happening at the perfect time. In 1999, people didn't yet live online the way that we do now. Google was still new, and the idea of going viral wasn't even a term people used.
Yeah.
That made the deception all the more believable. Word of mouth exploded because audiences didn't just think they were watching a scary movie. They thought they might be seeing evidence of a real disappearance.
What a mindfuck.
Yeah, because I even remember seeing, I used to watch like E.T. and all those entertainment news
Entertainment
shows.
Tonight.
Yeah.
I thought you meant like the extraterrestrial. And I was like, yeah, I totally loved that movie.
No, I used to watch those shows and they would do little snippets of this and like, oh, people are going to Burkittsville, Maryland to check out the story of the Blair Witch, which is also something that happened along with this is people flooded that town because it's real.
Yeah.
And they flooded those woods.
Oof, that's
and the
not going to make those people happy.
No, they were not happy about it.
No.
They were like, this is ridiculous. This is a fake thing.
That's too far.
It's too far. Collateral damage for, this marketing campaign was this town suffered.
That's horrible.
So by the time the Blair Witch Project hit theaters in July 1999, anticipation had reached a fever pitch. It opened in just 27 theaters, but pulled in a staggering 56,000 per screen, with some audience members reportedly getting sick from the shaky camera work.
I hate shaky camera.
Barfing.
Hate it.
They were barfing away.
Oh,
sorry to bring that up.
Yeah, now's not a good time.
The release then expanded to over 2,000 theaters, ultimately grossing nearly $250 million worldwide.
Wow.
More than 4,000 times its original budget.
Yeah. That's wild.
So why did so many people believe it? Because the filmmakers and artisan leaned into authenticity at every turn.
Yeah.
The actors used their real names.
Yeah.
The website kept growing with more evidence. The fake documentary led into the TV's obsession with true crime. And the absence of the witch on screen made the story feel even more plausible.
Mm-hmm.
You never see the Blair Witch. So when the Blair Witch Project hits theaters, audiences are like, oh shit, we've never seen anything quite like this. And people packed elbow to elbow in theaters and walked out rattled. Reports of the vomiting made the rounds, which only added to the aura of danger. It wasn't because of anything that's like, are you okay?
I did not know there'd be so much vomit talk on today's episode.
I didn't even think about that. I'll stop mentioning the vomiting.
Trying to keep it all inside.
So what stuck with people wasn't gore or jump scares, but a pricking, lingering fear. Months after seeing it, moviegoers admitted that every snap of a twig or pile of sticks in the woods brought the dread right back. Critics noted how raw and unsettling it felt. Janet Maslin of the New York Times wrote that the actors weren't just playing scared, they were cold, hungry, and angry, and it showed on screen. The movie tapped into something people were already familiar with from TV. The lo-fi immediacy of shows like Cops and The Real World. As Daniel Myrick put it later, audiences had been sensitized to that handheld aesthetic by reality TV and 24-hour news. That meant when they saw video footage like this, they instinctively associated it with real life.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So that sense of realism and the movie's refusal to ever show the witch left a deep impression. It did not invent found footage. The movie that's credited with that is Ruggero Deodato's Cannibal Holocaust, which had used the technique almost 20 years earlier.
That was probably the episode that we touched on.
I think we did, because I probably mentioned that this was like the first found footage. It wasn't Blair Witch. Because people think Blair Witch was.
Got it.
But Blair Witch proved how powerful the format could be in the right hands. Its influence was immediate. It created a dividing line in horror before Blair Witch and after Blair Witch. Oren Peli, who would later make Paranormal Activity, said outright that his film would never have existed without the Blair Witch Project. Other movies like Cloverfield and The Last Exorcism followed in its footsteps, borrowing the same stripped-down verite approach to generate fear. The audience reaction also sparked bigger questions about reality itself. People left theaters debating whether what they had just seen was real, caught in the weird gray space of truth and fiction. In hindsight, that confusion feels prophetic. In 1999, sitting in the dark and trying to decide what was real and what was staged was a novelty. Today, it's our default mode online, where photos, videos, and stories are constantly scrutinized for authenticity. Back then, though, the Blair Witch Project made that uncertainty communal. As one Reddit user later put it, looking back, people legit believed it was real. There wasn't anything like it yet. So there were 4 different endings to the movie. There were 4 alternate endings. I never knew that. I'd never seen them. I will link them in the show notes.
Okay.
Because they're on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
They're creepy. All right, so most people know the Blair Witch Project for the final image, Mike standing facing the corner.
Take your word for it.
But what a lot of people don't realize is that the filmmaker shot 4 different endings. The last shot of Mike was always the key, but they tested out different ways of presenting it to see which had the biggest impact.
Focus group.
Focus time. I would love to be in a focus group for a horror movie. How do you do this?
Research, find out.
Okay. So one of the unused endings is legendary in itself. There's a crucifixion ending. In this version, Mike isn't just standing still. He's tied up on one of the giant stick figures that they find in the woods. The same kind of eerie doll-like structures. The idea was to drive home a violent, more gruesome image of what the witch might be capable of. But when audiences later heard about it, many thought it would have ruined the entire film. Some even laughed at the thought of it. Instead of being haunting, it felt too literal, kind of too on the nose.
Kind of jumping the shark based on what the vibe of the rest of the film,
right.
It sounds like.
Yeah, the movie worked because it suggested horror without showing it. And this alternate ending was like, look at this spectacle. I admit it's cool how they did it, but I was like, yeah, I could see that how that doesn't fit. Another take had Mike hanged.
Well, hate that.
It was still violent and disturbing and kept that idea that nobody survives. But like the crucifixion, it just didn't hit the same way.
Yeah.
Seeing Mike physically strung up was scary in a traditional sense, but it stripped away the ambiguity. The third alternate ending went in a totally different direction. Mike staring straight at Heather. In this version, she comes into the basement and finds him looking right at her in an aggressive, almost threatening way. The implication is that Mike himself might be the killer, not some supernatural entity. On paper, that could have been a shocking twist, but it changes the entire tone of the movie. That's why the version we all know, the one where Mike just stands facing the corner, was the right choice. Simple, confusing, it lingers. Test audiences didn't think it was any less scary. If anything, they found it more unsettling. I also want to talk a little bit. There are so many theories out there about this movie I had no idea about. I want to dive into the top ones I came across. Not too crazy. One of the most popular theories is that Josh was the real killer. The argument goes back to the story of Rustin Parr, the hermit who murdered the kids in his basement in the 1940s. In the movie, things start getting strange when Josh's stuff is smeared with blue slime, as if he's been marked by something. Soon after, Heather and Mike find that gruesome little bundle of fabric filled with teeth, hair, and maybe even a tongue.
What?
Yeah, in the movie, after Josh goes missing and they like hear him screaming in the woods, Heather wakes up and they find this little bundle of sticks with a ripped piece of his shirt. And she doesn't tell Mike. She finds it and she opens it, and there's just, you can see like an eye and a tongue and teeth. And it's hard to discern exactly what it is.
Okay.
And then she just like cries and kicks it away and says to Mike, it's nothing. Let's just keep going.
Just some teeth. Ew.
But since we never actually see Josh die, some fans think that he was still alive and was using his screams to lure Heather and Mike into the basement of the old Parr house. Mike ends up in the corner, Heather is the final victim, and Josh is the one pulling the strings, possibly having been possessed by the witch herself.
I could see that.
That's the top theory.
Okay.
Another idea focuses on the witch as the ghost of Ellie Kedward, the woman accused of witchcraft in the 1700s legend. We already talked about it. After her death, her spirit supposedly lingered, tormenting anyone who strayed too far into her domain. Burkittsville Cemetery is filled with children, lining up with stories of the witch abducting kids. And some fans argue Rustin Parr's confession to killing 7 children may have been a cover. He either witnessed the witch at work or took the blame while she carried out the killings herself. In this theory, Heather, Josh, and Mike are just the latest trespassers, unlucky enough to stumble into her woods.
Okay.
Ooh. There's also a darker, more human theory that Mike and Josh used the trip as an opportunity to kill Heather.
Ugh.
In the film, it's clear the two men are quick to turn on her. It gets ugly.
Oh, okay.
Mocking her and blaming her for getting them lost.
Oh, these assholes.
Well, because she has the map in the movie, and she's like leading them through, and she's like, I know how to read this map. Yeah. We're here. The thing is, like, they're just walking in circles.
Okay.
And in my mind, that makes me think that whatever force is out there has trapped them.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? Like, regardless of the map, they're not getting anywhere.
Right.
Where they want to be. But they blame Heather for that. And Mike even kicks the map into the river. And he's like, we didn't fucking need it. It's not doing anything for us. It's more of like a watch these people melt down. Less than like, yeah, there's this scary thing of the witch legend in the background, but these people are lost in the woods and losing their shit.
Probably not getting paid very well either.
Being the sound guy, Mike could have rigged speakers to fake the creepy noises outside their tent. If they were part of some kind of cult, it wouldn't have been hard for them or others in the woods to pound on the tent at night and rattle Heather's nerves. The grisly bundle of body parts could have been from another victim or even from Josh himself as proof of loyalty. The theory ends with Mike leading Heather through the house, racing to the basement first, and standing in the corner while Josh finishes her off, after which the two disappear into new lives or back to their whatever they were doing to begin with. That theory's not as widely accepted because there are holes in it.
Okay.
You know, that I don't necessarily, I could see that being a really interesting take for sure, but it just doesn't, in my mind, loop it together. Some think it wasn't just one spirit haunting the woods, but many. The fisherman that Heather interviews early on talks about a woman floating above the ground and a mist rising from the creek. Then we have the massacre at Coffin Rock, the countless children buried in the local cemetery, the murders, Ellie Kedward. There's a bunch of ghost potential. It adds up to a haunted forest filled with restless souls, not just one witch that's doing everything. In this theory, the woods are like the Overlook Hotel in The Shining, teeming with angry ghosts and supernatural beings.
Supernatural beings. That was cute that you said it. Supernatural beings.
The noises, voices, handprints on the walls, and the invisible attackers who shake the tent could come from any number of spirits. Maybe the murdered children strike back at any adult they see, mistaking them for Rustin Parr. Maybe Parr himself still roams the woods, or maybe Kedward is just one among many vengeful presences waiting for new victims. Then there's Mary Brown. She's my favorite character in this movie.
Okay.
She's like an old, eccentric lady. She's got this crazy brown hair and kind of a gaunt face, and she wears like an old-timey dress, and she speaks really like quietly. I love her. In the movie, Heather interviews her at her trailer, and she claims she once saw the witch, and she was covered in fur.
Oh.
Like, not like furs, like her body was like covered
she was furry.
She was furry.
Okay.
And I love how she talks. She's like, she was wearing she had a kind of fur on her. I want to go for her for Halloween.
I was going to say, that's who you're going to be for Halloween.
But what really stands out about her is her behavior. She craves attention. She's almost desperate to be believed. When the camera pans past her gate, the design looks suspiciously like the stick figures Heather, Josh, and Mike later find hanging in the woods. Later, Heather recalls that Mary quoted the Bible to them, warning them about crossing piles of rocks. Some viewers point to Genesis 31:52, which talks about stones serving as a boundary not to be crossed. Was Mary Brown warning them to stay out of the woods or threatening them if they didn't? This theory suggests Mary wasn't just a witness to the Blair Witch legend, she was the witch herself. I like this theory. I think Mary Brown's the witch.
Okay.
Because she's cool. When the Blair Witch blew up, Heather Donahue, Joshua Leonard, and Michael C. Williams weren't allowed to enjoy any of the normal benefits of sudden fame.
I think you talked about this in another episode. I think this was in Cannibal Holocaust, maybe, because we got into
we talked a little bit about something about this. But yeah, Artisan doubled down on the illusion that they were actually missing and presumed dead to sell the movie, so the cast was barred from interviews, premieres, and even taking new acting gigs for months.
Yeah, I remember you saying that. That's so fucked up.
The three were initially paid just $1,000 each. And
whoa.
Yeah. And promised 1% of profits, over $1 million. But when the movie crossed $100 million, the only thing they got was a fruit basket.
Blink, blink.
As Heather later said, that's when it hit her. They were being cut out of something they had helped create.
Yeah. Lawsuits!
Lawsuits. By 2000, another storm hit. Artisan pushed out a rushed sequel, Book of Shadows, Blair Witch 2. Terrible movie. Terrible. Without involving the original actors. To their surprise, though, Kate, their faces and footage still showed up in the marketing.
Oh, well, look at that.
On theater displays.
That's so illegal.
In TV specials. And even in the sequel itself for a few seconds.
Wow.
Heather, Josh, and Mike felt that crossed a big line.
Yeah.
And just before Book of Shadows came out in October 2000, they tried to block its release, arguing Artisan was using their names and likenesses without permission.
Yeah.
Artisan refused, saying the contracts they'd signed with Haxan Films gave them broad rights to use the actors' names, faces, and voices in any Blair Witch-related materials.
Oh, shit.
So the trio sued.
Yeah.
In their complaint, they asked for over $4 million each, saying their reputations and budding careers had been damaged. Artisan fired back, accusing them of trying to rewrite their contracts now that the movie was successful. The whole mess hinged on flimsy deal memos the actors had signed early on, just a page and a half copied out of a book by producer Greg Hale with no lawyer involved.
Oh, wow. Did they have agents?
No.
Damn.
No.
This is why you got to have an agent. You got to read that fine print.
Get the deals. Artisan insisted those memos gave them sweeping rights for sequels, remakes, and merchandising.
Oh, this is awful.
The actors disagreed, saying they only signed up for the first movie and its direct marketing. The lawsuit dragged on until 2004, when the actors finally settled with Artisan. Each received around $300,000 spread over several years.
Jeez, that's nothing.
That's nothing. By comparison, Haxan Films and its investors reportedly made between $35 and $40 million from the franchise. The big win, at least on paper, was that the actors' settlement barred Artisan and future owners like Lionsgate, which bought Artisan in 2003, from using their names and likenesses without permission going forward. But even that didn't hold. Years later, Heather had to fight again when Lionsgate planned to use her full name and face in the 2016 sequel, Blair Witch.
Did Lionsgate just think that she had forgotten or something?
Right.
Like, she'll never know.
She won't know. Who cares? We own this now.
Wow.
It's bananas. And I saw this one. I saw the sequel, but I'm not talking about the sequels because they're not
good.
Great.
Okay.
I did enjoy watching the 2016 one. I think it's interesting. In my mind, it connected it to her being an alien, if I'm remembering correctly. But I don't, maybe I misread it. Heather, of course, comes forward and she's like, bullshit. She invoked the old settlement and forced them to change it.
Good.
Though the story still revolved around her character's brother. She also later discovered that her screams from the original film were used in the 2022 movie Tar without her permission.
This is so wrong.
Isn't this bizarre? And she had to pursue her own separate settlement with Focus Features because Lionsgate didn't involve her in their dispute with that studio.
Wow.
And I don't have an outcome for that, but like, what the fuck?
Yeah, this is so messed up.
All these pieces of this famous movie are just being kind of spread out and used in various ways because those agreements weren't in place, even though there were a settlement. There was a settlement.
That's so dirty.
It's dirty. It's disgusting. The legal battles weren't just limited to the actors. Artisan itself got into disputes over profits with its theater partners. After Blair Witch became a massive hit, Artisan sued United Artists Theater Circuit for $3.1 million in unpaid ticket receipts and Regal Cinemas for nearly $6 million, accusing them of failing to properly report sales. Around the same time, a former collaborator named Sam Barber sued too. He claimed that he'd helped develop the Blair Witch idea with Daniel Myrick years earlier, spent thousands on treatments, and was supposed to be an executive producer before being cut out. I'm going to talk more about that in a bit. But meanwhile, the actors' frustrations never went away. Heather, Josh, and Mike talked openly about how the contracts had trapped them. The wording had allowed Haxan and later Artisan to use their real names for authenticity, but it blurred the line so badly that the public thought they weren't even actors. Heather said she couldn't audition because casting directors assumed she'd just been playing herself. Williams remembered bouncing checks while working odd jobs, despite technically starring in the most successful indie movie ever.
That sucks.
By the 2010s and 2020s, the disputes flared back up as Lionsgate kept trying to reboot the franchise. And by 2024, right now, there's a new Blumhouse Lionsgate reboot announced for the Blair Witch.
Really?
Yeah. The 3 stars finally went public again with an open letter. Because they announced this at, I think it was CinemaCon, that they were going to do a reboot with Blumhouse and Lionsgate. So after Blumhouse and Lionsgate announced this reboot, the stars went public with an open letter. They demanded retroactive residuals equal to what they would have gotten under SAG-AFTRA protections, plus meaningful consultation on any new Blair Witch projects that would inevitably use their names and likenesses. They even asked for a $60,000 annual Blair Witch grant to support aspiring genre filmmakers, since that was the original budget of the film. Joshua Leonard, who's managed to keep up an acting career, said bluntly that he didn't care if Lionsgate liked him. He just didn't want his daughter to think her self-worth could be undermined by corporations. Michael Williams broke down in interviews describing how humiliating it was to be broke while supposedly famous. And Heather said flat out, if there's value in using our identities, compensate us. If not, then stop using us.
I mean, she says it best. Yeah.
The directors and producers of the original film even backed them, issuing a statement saying the actors' likenesses were inseparably tied to the Blair Witch legacy. And yet, entertainment lawyers point out the obvious. Legally, it's a long shot. Because the actors accepted buyouts and settlements years ago, they don't have much legal ground to stand on now.
That's the thing.
One lawyer summed it up. They're trying to renegotiate the deal after the fact. So while SAG-AFTRA has stepped in to nudge Lionsgate, what the actors are really appealing to now is fairness, not enforceable contracts. Oh, and that's kind of where that ends with them. There's nothing else really they can do legally because everything was sort of settled back in 2004.
Yeah.
Which sucks. And again, these are like, you know, new actors. They're super talented.
That's the thing, is that they were new and they were naive.
Yeah.
And they didn't know.
And they were just joining this weird indie project that sounded cool. And then all of a sudden it becomes this massive thing that no one ever thought it would be.
Yeah, it's the danger of working non-union.
Yeah.
And it's the danger of not having an agent who can really look at that contract and really see what that means. Because if something is like in perpetuity, then you're basically signing away your life and you're not going to be compensated for that. So yeah, that's really shitty.
It sucks.
It's also a cautionary tale for actors.
Oh, and I think that's exactly what they are saying now in this open letter that came out last year. Is like, you know, you've got to know about this and you've got to think about it. So be warned.
Because I think what happens is actors are like so excited, like, oh, I got cast in something.
They'll just sign anything.
Yeah, and it's like,
no,
take a breath. Hold on.
Be excited, but also know that there's a business side to it. That
it's all business, and everybody's replaceable. It's all business.
It is. Ooh. So let's return to our old Sam Barber. This is another lawsuit. So he was an Orlando filmmaker. He claimed he was part of the project early on through his company, Barber Myrick Pictures, which he ran with Dan Myrick, one of the two eventual directors of Blair Witch. According to Barber, the film was actually being developed at his company around 1996. He said he spent thousands, maybe even hundreds of thousands of dollars helping to get it off the ground, paying for things like the treatment, investor packages, auditions, and even a trailer that was later used to promote the movie. But things went sideways. Barber alleged that Myrick and producer Greg Hale basically took the project out from under him. He said they left Barber Myrick Pictures, took the records and materials related to the film, and went off with other filmmakers to form Haxan Films, the company that ultimately made the Blair Witch Project.
They left him pictures. What do you mean?
He said they left Barber Myrick Pictures. Sorry, Barber Myrick Pictures is the company name.
Gotcha.
Not actual pictures.
Gotcha.
He left them pictures of just
I was like,
middle
what?
finger. Pictures of a middle finger. So yeah, he's like, these guys took all of the shit, ran off together, and formed Haxan Films, which made the movie.
Got it.
He even accused Myrick and his girlfriend, Crystal Jordan, of breaking into his office to steal documents, tapes, and a master copy of the film. Barber said he had put everything on the line, money, credit, resources, and then found himself almost bankrupt while the film was moving forward without him. So Barber sued. His first lawsuit was filed way back in June 1998, even before the film was released. He went after Myrick, Hale, and Jordan, claiming theft, breach of contract, breach of fiduciary duty, and unfair competition. He also said he deserved a producer or executive producer credit and a percentage of the profits, which he thought could be worth at least $10 million. The defendants denied all of this, called the lawsuit harassment, and even filed a countersuit against him. Fast forward to after the movie blew up in 1999. He doubled down, saying he was unlawfully cut out and that leaving his name off the film was unfair competition under the Federal Lanham Act. In 2000, U.S. District Court Judge Consuelo Marshall actually allowed his case to proceed, rejecting Artisan Entertainment's motion to dismiss. That meant Barber could go forward with his claim that not giving him credit was a violation of federal unfair competition law. Barber kept insisting he was promised ownership, involvement, and that producer credit, and that Myrick and Hale had basically frozen him out once the movie looked like it might turn into something. He claimed the project was incubated at his office, that he was all into it. Hexen Films and Artisan were like, no, he had nothing to do with it, and it was just another earlier unrelated film idea.
I don't think I've ever heard of that federal unfair competition.
Federal unfair competition law.
I don't think I've ever heard of that.
I haven't either. Eventually, Barber's long fight came to an end. He reached a settlement in Los Angeles federal court with Hexen and Artisan. The terms were confidential, so nobody knows how much money was involved, but part of the deal included Barber relinquishing any copyright claims to the Blair Witch Project and to another unreleased film he'd been working on with Hexen.
Oh, geez.
He also gave up use of the Barber Myrick Pictures name. In exchange, he got an official pre-production supervisor credit added to future prints, VHS, and DVDs of the film. Dan Myrick even put out a statement saying, Hexen Film acknowledges and thanks Sam Barber for his role in pre-production of the Blair Witch Project. Barber wasn't thrilled with this.
Yeah.
After it all wrapped up, he said he was not happy and disappointed. Just that the whole thing left him feeling robbed of his dreams. To him, no amount of money or credit could make up for the fact that when Myrick and the others were being celebrated at Sundance and Cannes, those had been his dreams too, and he'd been shut out of them.
This all sounds really messy and dirty. Like,
it does, doesn't it? There had to be something there. It's not like you just jump in and try to grab money. Well, but people do that a lot. But I don't know. Them settling makes me think that this was legit.
mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you can settle on something and there's a reason for it.
Yeah, it sounds messy.
It's gross. Oh, right. Last thing, Kate. Back in March of 2002, a group of friends in Flint, Michigan decided they were going to make their own little Blair Witch Project style horror movie. The problem? Their movie involved actually kidnapping a girl, tying her up, and pretending to bury her alive.
I gotta go.
The group was made of 5 young people: Jonathan H. Cockerill, Travis A. Paella, Christina Lum, James Carwile, Derek Faxlinger. Cockerill was even a community college student studying filmmaking. So maybe in his head he was some sort of twisted film experiment, but prosecutors didn't see it that way at all. The victim was Danielle Taylor, a 19-year-old waitress at Taco Bell. According to prosecutors, she had no idea this was supposed to be a prank or a movie.
I'm already terrified. I don't even know the details yet.
The group allegedly forced her into a grave they had dug.
Oh, God.
Started shoveling snow and dirt on her and told her things like, we are burying you alive, you're gonna die. Only after it was over did they let her out and tell her it was all just a joke.
Prison for all of them. Prison.
Yeah, the authorities weren't laughing. All 5 ended up facing kidnapping and assault charges.
Yeah.
Which under Michigan law could mean anywhere from 7 years to life in prison.
Damn.
Faxlinger was let out on bail, but the 4 others sat in jail with $500 1,000 bonds each. Prosecutor Byron J. Conshu made it clear whatever these kids thought they were doing, the victim didn't know it was staged, so it was a crime. He told Good Morning America the prank was intended by the participants, but the last party, the victim, was not in on the prank. The defense, of course, tried to spin it differently. Carwile's lawyer, Dan Ambrose, argued that the videotape, shot by Paella, showed Taylor knew it was a movie. He pointed out that Taylor never begged for her life, never told them to stop, and even played dead for about a minute. His logic was, if she really thought she was being buried alive, wouldn't she have struggled?
Oh, my God.
Isn't that gross?
Wow. Prison.
Right. The tape itself is chilling. It opens casually with Taylor smiling at the camera saying hi, but then it quickly turns dark as Carwile and Cockerill wrestle her to the ground and bind her with tape. At one point, one of them tells her, "You'll never feel a thing." So what they brushed off as a prank or a student film idea became a major criminal case, and all of it was tied back to the influence of the Blair Witch Project, a movie that was so convincing and low budget that it made people think they could grab a camera and stage something real and call it art.
Yeah, that's the danger of that.
Yeah, I was trying to find like the full outcome of that case, but I only found a couple articles about it.
Okay.
I'll continue to take a look and give updates, but isn't that fucked? Stupid.
Yeah, that's insane. How is that poor girl doing?
I don't know. Like, I can't even imagine having to go through something like that.
Ugh. And these were supposedly her friends?
Yeah.
Wow.
That was the Blair Witch Project, all about it. Alternate endings, the making, the craziness, the stories.
The lawsuits.
The crazy. And that is the whole of the Blair Witch Project.
And it's spooky season.
Spooky season.
And you can leave your comments on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, or Spotify at
Horrorwood Podcast.
Or send us an email at
horrorwoodpodcast@gmail.com.
Or pop on over to Patreon at
patreon.com/horrorwoodpodcast.
Don't do murder. Don't do burying your friends alive. Don't do making a film and then not paying your actors. And don't do only feeding them chips. People need food.
I don't think we need to go into the woods.
Like ever. There's no purpose.
There's nothing in there. There's demons and witches and deer. And squirrels.